How's it going, everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we have for you another episode in the Aeternum Got Talent series, but instead of a Transmog Contest, this time we'll be hosting a New World themed quiz show. 3 contestants will face off to see who has the most Aeternum based knowledge, and the winner will walk away with 10,000 gold in prize money. But before we get into it, please consider giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel, it helps out massively. Now, let's get into it. For this contest, there will be 10 New World related questions, 3 PvE based, 3 PvP based, 3 lore based, and 1 geographical question. Each question will have 4 multiple choice options, and every contestant will receive the same 10 questions. They will private message me their answers, and if they get it right, they get awarded a point. If they get it wrong, they get no points. By the end of the event, the contestant with the most points goes home with the grand prize, and gets his or her name on the Aeternum Got Talent trophy. If there's a tie, we go into sudden death, where answers keep getting asked to the 2 contestants until someone gets one wrong. Feel free to partake in this quiz yourself. Keep track of how many questions you get correct, and post your results in the comments below. But now that we know the rules, let's meet our contestants. Contestant number 1 goes by the name of Klaus Malman, and he fights for the Covenant. He's mostly a PvE player who's very into mining and catching up on any content he missed out on while he was on his break from New World. Hopefully that break didn't cause him to lose all his New World knowledge. His favorite zone to hang out in is Eden Grove, so if you see anyone mining out there, it's probably Klaus. Contestant number 2 goes by the name of Araya, and she fights for the Marauders. She's a PvE based player who enjoys doing worm runs and hatchery trials. When it comes to her favorite zone, she likes them all, it just depends on her mood, so if you ever see her hanging out around Shattered Mountain, you best stay clear of her, she's probably in a bad mood. Contestant number 3 goes by the name of Valaris Knight, and she fights for the Marauders as well. She's mostly a PvE based player who enjoys worm runs and tweaking her transmogs. She used to also do a ton of leaderboards and M10 runs. Her favorite zone is First Light, or should I say, her favorite zone was First Light. Now she has to settle for Ebon Scale Reach, since the Angry Earth destroyed First Light. We also have our lovely spectators cheering the contestants on from the stands. And when the contest kicks off, the show will be hosted by your quizmaster, Yo-Yo the Yeti, and his 2 rabbits, Yip and Yap. Now, let's get started. Question number 1. After being killed by corrupted Captain Thorpe at the beginning of the game, you get reincarnated on a beach in one of the starting zones. Who is the first person you talk to if you follow the main storyline's instructions? Is it A. Grace O'Malley, B. Layson Reese, C. Adiana Theron, or D. Jonas Alazar? Contestant number 1 chose D. Jonas Alazar. Contestant number 2 also chose D, and so did contestant number 3. And funny enough, all 3 got it wrong. The correct answer was B. Layson Reese, also known as Watcher Reese. He helps you get settled in on Aeternum, teaching you the skills needed to survive the harsh island, and you proceed to help him with the storm wall problem. If you'd like to get more familiar with the lore of New World, check out my series, The Story of New World, linked in the top right in the video description. That means after round number 1, every contestant is tied with 0 points apiece. The fans sure weren't impressed by that round. Question number 2. When you play an outpost rush match, each team has a mine area filled with star metal veins near their spawning fort. Withered wander around this area, as well as what is referred to as a large undead org, a massive brute-like creature that protects a couple of large star metal veins. What are the names of these 2 creatures? Is it A. Pug and Ugg, B. Rog and Og, C. Dug and Ugg, or D. Jug and Ugg? Contestant number 1 chose C. Dug and Ugg. Contestant number 2 chose D. Jug and Ugg. And contestant number 3 also chose C. Dug and Ugg. The correct answer was C. Dug and Ugg. Once you take out these massive beasts, you not only gain a Wraith Summoning Stone and 100 Azoth Essence, but you can freely mine all the star metal ores behind them. That means contestant number 1 and number 3 each gain a point after this round, bringing their tallies to 1 apiece, making them tied for first place. Question number 3. Captain Thorpe, the man who took you to Aeternum before becoming corrupted and killing you, what was his full name? Is it A. Alduus Thorpe, B. Benjamin Thorpe, C. Timothy Thorpe, or D. Albert Thorpe? All 3 contestants were unanimous in their decision to choose option A, Alduus Thorpe, for this question, and all 3 of them were spot on. The correct answer was A. Alduus Thorpe. He recruited you for his expedition to find the island of Aeternum in search of wealth, power, and eternal life. You set forth to the island on a ship named the Ambition before a storm took you and your ship down, leaving you stranded on Aeternum. That means all 3 contestants gain a point from this round, and number 1 and number 3 remain tied for that top spot, with number 2 just a point behind. The fans are loving the competitive nature of this competition so far. Question number 4. When playing an outpost rush match, There's a certain powerful creature that spawns every 10 minutes, and whichever team kills it, the score for the other team is frozen for 2.5 minutes. What is the full name of this creature? Is it A. Baroness Bane, B. Baroness Jane, C. Baroness Hane, or D. Baroness Kane? Contestant number 1 and number 3 went with C. Baroness Hane, while contestant number 2 went with A. Baroness Bane. And sure enough, number 1 and number 3 got it right again. The correct answer was C. Baroness Hane, known as the Frozen Ghost. Not only does defeating Hane freeze any points from being earned by the opposing team, but it also gives your team a large buff to health regeneration and defense for the next 2.5 minutes. So the team that finishes off the Baroness can turn the tides of war in an instant. Contestant number 1 and number 3 continue their heated rivalry with 3 points apiece. Let's see which one can pull out in front. Question number 5. Once you start a match of 3v3 arenas, how long can the two teams fight before the ring of fire or gas spawns and starts cutting down the size of the arena? Is it A. 3 minutes, B. 2 minutes, C. 1 minute, or D. 1.5 minutes? Contestant number 1 and number 2 went with B. 2 minutes, whereas contestant number 3 chose option A. 3 minutes. That means someone is going to take the lead as a result of this question, so let's see who knew more about the 3v3 arenas. The correct answer was B. 2 minutes. Once that period is up, a deadly force comes in at the players from all angles and slowly shrinks the size of the arena until all participants of one team are defeated. That means contestant number 1 and number 2 both earned points this round, and contestant number 1 has moved clear into the number 1 spot. The fans love what they're seeing from contestant number 1. Question number 6. In the final expedition of the initial main story quest, you finally come face to face with Isabella in the Tempest's Heart. Along your expedition to face Isabella, which one of these people is not a boss you can face off against? Is it A. Castillo de Leon, B. High Maiden Lai, C. Vrogue, or D. Headman Ping? I may or may not have made a mistake on this one and showed all participants the answer as I was giving them the question, and as a result, all contestants chose D. Headman Ping. The correct answer was, in fact, D. Headman Ping. Although the name might sound familiar, the boss is actually named Headman Pang, who you encounter in the City of Darkness. That's a free point to all participants, keeping their placements the same. The fans sure weren't happy with Yo-Yo the Yeti after that slip-up. Question number 7. In a mutated expedition, in order to gain a gold ranking, how much points do you as a team need to earn? Is it A. 10,000 plus, B. 25,000 plus, C. 50,000 plus, or D. 100,000 plus? As all 3 of the participants were predominantly PvE players, it was no surprise that they all answered this question with the option C. 50,000 plus. And they were all in fact right on the money. The correct answer was C. 50,000 plus. To get silver, you need between 25,000 and 49,999 points. Bronze requires any score less than 20,000 points, and gold is anything above 50,000 points. That's another round of points to all 3 participants, keeping their placement the same going into question number 8. The fans were on the edge of their seat to see if contestant number 3 could retake the lead, or if contestant number 2 might make a shock comeback from behind and win the whole contest. Question number 8. If you were seeking out the Stone Form Heart Rune, which expedition would you need to run through to acquire it? Is it A. Lazarus, B. Garden of Genesis, C. Barnacles and Black Powder, or D. Amarin? Contestant number 1 went with A. Lazarus, whereas contestant number 2 and number 3 both went for C. Barnacles and Black Powder. If contestant number 1 gets this one wrong, it could really open up the possibilities for a shock ending. But unfortunately, there was no chance at that. Contestant number 1 was right on the money again, putting his New World knowledge on full display. The correct answer was A. Lazarus. You earn a chance at getting this heart rune when you defeat the final boss in this expedition, Chartis. You get the Cannon Blast heart rune from the Barnacles and Black Powder expedition. That means only contestant number 1 gets points for this round, giving him a secure 2-point lead going into the last 2 questions. Everything comes down to this next question. Anticipation was building amongst the audience. Question number 9. In Pridewind, the medieval castle-like city in Monarch's Bluff, there are several knights that keep the city safe. But who is the Knight Regent that acts as head knight when you first arrive in the city? Is it A. Knight Regent Payne Bennett, B. Knight Regent Lochnear, C. Knight Regent Jinjay, or D. Knight Regent Gawain? Contestant number 1 went with D. Knight Regent Gawain. Contestant number 2 went with C. Knight Regent Jinjay, and contestant number 3 went with B. Knight Regent Lochnear. All 3 contestants with different answers here, and I can confirm contestant number 1 has not gotten this one right. If contestant number 3 has this one right, it can all come down to the last question. But unfortunately, she has not gotten it right. The correct answer was C. Knight Regent Jinjay. Although all of the other characters named as options were part of this quest's storyline, the night region when you arrive in this city is Jinjay. She may or may not have earned a promotion thanks to your efforts in Pride Win. Nice. That means only contestant number 2 earned points this round. Although it's mathematically impossible for contestant number 1 to be passed up at this point with one question left, the second place spot is still up for grabs with this last question. Will contestant number 3 maintain their good form and end the competition in second place, or can contestant number 2 pull off a shock comeback and secure the number 2 spot after trailing the entire contest? Let's find out. Question number 10. Do not open your map while answering this question. If you started off in the capital city of Everfall, Oxborough City, and headed north, which is the next territory you would end up in? Is it A. Ebonscale Reach, B. Brightwood, C. Weaver's Fen, or D. Windsward? Contestant number 1 and number 2 both went with B. Brightwood, but contestant number 3 went with C. Weaver's Fen. Now, let's find out who will get that number 2 spot. The correct answer was B. Brightwood. From there, you would enter Great Cleave and eventually Shattered Mountain. That means contestant number 1 wins the competition with a staggering 8 out of 10 questions correct, with contestant number 2 just about sneaking into the number 2 spot with a 6 out of 10 after a shaky start that saw them trail for the entire contest. And contestant number 3 crumbled late to finish with a 5 out of 10 after starting off so phenomenally. What a thrilling conclusion. That makes contestant number 1, Klaus Malman, the second ever Aeternum's Got Talent champion, putting his name on the trophy next to the previous winner, Koloft Khan. A massive shout out to the 3 of you that participated in this competition. I know we had a few hiccups at the start of the contest, but it ended up being a blast hosting it for all of you. And thank you to the audience for showing up as well. All participants were given 1k gold for their time and effort, plus another 10k gold for contestant number 1 for his phenomenal showing in the contest. But let me know how you did in the comments below. I'll be hosting tons more events similar to this in the near future in my Aeternum's Got Talent series, so stay tuned for them. And if you have any ideas for fun events, shoot them over my way so I can host them. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel while you're at it. It helps out massively. But until next time, have a good one. Thanks for watching another video. If you'd like to see the previous episode of Aeternum's Got Talent, where we hosted a Transmog Contest, click on the video to the left. Or, if you'd like to see me go on a New World lore journey in my The Story of New World series, the series I generated a lot of the questions for this video from, click on the video to the right.